Hey everybody, my name is Ankit Singh, student of BE Computer Science and Engineering. Today we are going to discuss about microprocessors versus microcontrollers. So why we need microprocessors and microcontrollers? As we know that the computer systems were actually made for the calculation purposes. But as the time passed, we realized that we human need such a device that not only can do the calculation but also do the multiple tasks at a given time. So for this, microprocessors were came into existence. Microprocessors were not only cheaper, but also they reduced cost and size of the system. Also, they made the system faster. After some time of the microprocessors, we have seen that microprocessors cannot be installed in every system. So we made microcontrollers. Microcontrollers are the devices which are application specific. That that means we can install it where we need some specific task. So we will talk more about microprocessors and microcontrollers. So here's an introduction. Microprocessor is a type of computer processor in which both data processing and logical and controls are included on a single integrated circuit or on a small number of integrated circuit. This means that microprocessor actually can do both data processing and the logical operations. And these both are done on a single integrated chip. And in some cases, there are multiple small number of circuits which are on the same integrated circuit. While on the other hand, a microcontroller is a small, low-cost microcomputer on a single integrated circuit. Microcontroller is a kind of small microcomputer which lies on a single integrated circuit. It is used for controlling the portion of electronic system through a microprocessor unit and some peripherals. It mean, as I said, that the microcontrollers are application specific, so it will work only on a specific target on a electronic system. And in the microcontrollers, there is a microprocessor and some input-output peripherals or device parts. So here we are going to see more about microprocessor. A microprocessor is a controlling unit of a microcomputer wrapped inside a small chip. This means that in microprocessor, it controls the entire computer system and it is only inside a single small chip. It performs arithmetic logical unit operations and communicates with the other devices connected to it. Arithmetic logical unit, it performs the arithmetic operations like subtraction, addition, multiplication, division, and it also communicates with the other devices which are connected to our system. It is a single integrated circuit in which several functions are combined. It means in a single chip, there are multiple functions, there are multiple works that are assigned to a processor. Let's see the history of microprocessor, like when it is started and where it is now. In 1959, Fairchild Semiconductor invented first integrated circuit. Fairchild Semiconductor was an semiconductor manufacturing company, which is an American-based company. In 1968, Intel was founded by the three geniuses Robert Noyce, Gordon Moore, and Andrew Grove. These three founded Intel in 1968. After the 3 years of found of Intel in 1971, Intel created its first generation microprocessor. Its name is microprocessor 4004, and it would run about the clock speed of 108 hertz. And after some time, second and third generations, they were found nearly same years of their existence. In second and third generation, which were 8-bit microprocessor, and after in the early 1980s, Intel released its fourth gen 32-bit microprocessor. After that, after some 10 to 15 years, Intel releases its fifth generation 64-bit microprocessor. Now, microcontrollers. A microcontroller is a chip optimized to a control electronic devices. Actually, it is a kind of chip that can control electronic devices. It is stored in a single integrated circuit that is dedicated to perform a particular task and executing one specific application. As I told that the microcontrollers are application specific, they can perform only a single task. It is a specially designed circuit for embedded application and is widely used in automatically controlled electronic devices. Uh, the microcontrollers are mostly used in a companies and factories where we need automation, where we need a small amount of manpower and we need a large amount of output. History of microcontrollers. As I told that the microcontrollers were found after microprocessors when we get to know about the uh, application specific devices. So in 1975, Intel 8045 was found, and after some 18 to 20 years, introduction of EEPROM, which is a non-volatile memory, and EEPROM stands for electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. And in the same year, Atmel introduced its first microcontroller using flash memory. Flash memory is nothing but a memory which can work even after the computer shuts down. Now, let's see the difference between the microprocessors and microcontrollers. Microprocessor is the heart of computer system, whereas the microcontroller is the heart of embedded systems. Since the microcontrollers are application specific, so they are only using embedded systems, whereas microprocessor do multiple tasks. So they are heart of computer systems. Microprocessor contains only a processor, so the input output components need to be connected externally, whereas in microcontrollers, it has a processor along with the internal memory and input output components. So, and the memory and the input output devices are connected externally, so the circuit becomes large. As we know that if the circuit is connected externally, it is obvious that the entire system will become heavy, and or memory and input output are already present inside, so the internal circuit is small. You can't use in compact systems, and microcontrollers can be used in compact system in the sense where the circuits are very dense, like in digital cameras and all. So their microcontrollers are used in spite of memory microprocessors. The microprocessors In microprocessor, the cost of entire system is very high, but the microcontrollers are very cheap. That's why they have developed. Most of the microprocessor do not have power saving features, but the microcontrollers have inbuilt power saving features. So they are power efficient. So it is mainly used in personal computers. Like main application of microprocessor are used in personal computers and smart devices. But whereas the uh, microcontrollers are used in application specific systems like MP3 and embedded system like cameras and all, where a device can do only a single task. Microprocessors are based on von Neumann model, whereas the microcontrollers are based on Harvard structures. It it's complex. It is complex and a large number of instructions to process. Since the microprocessors can do multiple tasks at the same time, so they are expensive and they are very complex, whereas the microcontrollers are inexpensive with a less number of instruction to process. So let's see the features of microcontrollers and microprocessors. Microprocessors offer built-in monitor, debugger, program with interrupt capability. Like interrupt is nothing but whenever the processor gets free, then it should be informed that another task is there to perform. It performs parallel input output and instruction cycle. We have instructional cycle timer and external memory interface. But in microcontrollers, we have processor reset and some program and variable memory input output pins, device clocking, the processor, a central processor, and instruction cycle timer. Instruction cycle timer is nothing the time taken by the processor to execute one task. Let's see the application of microprocessors and microcontrollers. Microprocessors are used in calculators, in gaming machines, and in traffic lights, whereas the microcontrollers are used in mobile phones, cameras, watches. Let's see the summary. The key differences between the microprocessors and microcontroller is that the microprocessor consists of only CPU. It contains only CPU that can only do the processing task. And whereas the microcontroller contains CPU, memory, input, output devices, and these all combinedly perform a single task at a given time. Whereas in a microcontrollers are inexpensive. Microcontrollers is an inexpensive, straightforward, and small number of instruction to process. Microcontrollers have, since they have a application specific, so they can do a small number of instructions. They are only straightforward and very cheaper. Whereas microprocessors are complex and inexpensive, and they are expensive with many instructions. So thank you. We will see you next time.